Good morning, friends. It is bright and early on Wednesday morning, and I want to work on designing the look for my next project after this leaf pack, which is almost done. It's actually sitting behind me, and it's only missing some bottom straps. I'm very excited. But I think the next thing I want to do is a case for a Switch. I have a Switch Lite, so I'll probably start with that, and then I can size it up or adjust it for a regular Switch and go from there. So my existing case looks like this. It's a hard case. You're hearing my cat scratch probably. Hi, Kiwa. And I like that it gives a lot of protection for the Switch. It's easy to throw in a bag and not worry about it. It's got a lot of pockets on the inside for games. It's got a zipper pouch, which is pretty nice, and straps to make sure that the Switch is really firmly in place. I don't know yet how much of that I can do with my pouch. I haven't really thought about it much yet, but I know, at least off the top of my head, I definitely want to do something that is a similar style to the leaf pack, and there's a reason for that that I'll explain later probably, but I kind of envision a folding over top, maybe with multiple leaves on it, all together, kind of like this, that fold over, and then there's like a little piece that comes down and fastens maybe, so it's a top that folds over like this, and then when you lift the flap up, maybe there's a zipper so it's extra secure, and there's the little fastener there. But I'm trying to think of sort of features and things that I might want to have in this, and then also what the sort of shapes are going to be, and you know, how many pieces I might need, how everything will be connected, like will this front piece and the bottom and the lid all be one piece, which is something I really like to do. I find it easier, and also I find it to be sturdier. You have fewer seams to worry about, and it just looks really nice to not have seams all over the place. So we could do something like that. I don't know if a pouch approach is really right. Maybe we need to extend the zipper downwards more so that we can have a pouch that fully opens flat, kind of like the one I have right now. And then there'd be the sort of leafy lid with that nubbin. So that when it's fully open, maybe there's a spot for the Switch to sit, and maybe there's some stitched pouches for games, which means the back would either need to be two pieces, so we have the piece that the games are stitched to that then gets put into the bag and stitched into the sides there, or we just have this stitch pattern visible on the back side of the case, which I think isn't the worst, but I think it looks really nice to have a good clean piece. So maybe that's a separate piece that gets popped in there. Maybe we can rivet. Well, I don't know if we want to do a rivet, so we'll probably have to stitch it because we don't want to put any hard metal on our Switch. So maybe we stitch a little strap that can sit in here, that can go into another strap to make sure the Switch is all nice and secure. And we'll probably do Velcro on that so that it again, there's no metal on your console, which might be good. I'm trying to think of other things. I did really like how my existing Switch case has that mesh zipper pouch. That was really nice, and the way they had room for that is they took this piece that games were in, and they made it kind of a separate piece that could flip-flop in the middle. So then they had room on this part to put the mesh pocket, and we could potentially do something like that. We could stitch an extra piece into the middle that can flip-flop, and that would hold games. And the cool thing about that, if we did that, is we could double how many games we could hold, because we could put game slots on both sides, and then we'd have room on this top here for something else, potentially a little pouch to carry stuff. Like, I have these really cute little silicone things that have little paws on them to go on my joysticks, because my thumbs get very slippery. Stuff like that, stuff like charging cords could go into that pouch. Extra Joy-Cons for people that have a normal Switch, so that they don't have to, you know, carry them. It's basically the same design though, and I'm kind of interested in figuring out maybe a different way of holding these things, and maybe it's a simpler pouch. Maybe we stick with, you know, this idea, and it's just something that you can drop your Switch into. Maybe it's something where when you unzip it, we have two sections. So there'd be a divider, and you could put your Switch in one section, and then maybe there's some pockets to put your games in the other section. So it's just super easy. You just kind of reach in and pull stuff out. It might get challenging to rummage around, depending on how sort of fitted the case is. It might be the case that it's easier to get to it if the Switch isn't in it, in which case this more open design works really well. I don't want to copy an existing design, but a lot of Switch cases do function the same, and I think maybe the draw is that it's leather, and then it has that kind of leafy druid look, so that it's thematically relevant to my plans. Or maybe we look at other things for inspiration, like makeup bags and other things that are designed to travel nicely. We also have some interesting capabilities with leather with wet molding. So we could make something that is sort of forced into a more open shape, like the bag that I have. I was wondering the other night too if it's possible to vacuum form wet leather and kind of create a shape that way. But I'm sort of intrigued by this idea. I'm trying to decide what the top of this looks like. I keep envisioning the leaves folding over the top, and I don't know if we could do one big leaf, so it's a little bit more similar to the leaf pack and has a fastener, which is kind of nice and simple. Maybe the zipper peeks out on the side there. Maybe it's a different kind of leaf. I think with this we want to keep the profile of the leaf inside the shape so that it doesn't get caught on things and it's easy to pack. I think we probably don't want something like this because these won't be tacked down, so these would just be loose pieces that have the ability to get caught on things, bent, damaged, things like that. I think we want to keep with kind of a more sleek design that allows very few pieces to be loose and wobbly. This little tip might be an issue. And if we did multiple leaves, maybe, you know, we can kind of keep the same general shape but have just a couple little tippy tips that kind of sneak around, which I guess is sort of the same deal as that one. That's the most beautiful arrow I've ever drawn. There we go. Yeah, I think it really comes down to, when I'm designing things, I really want to think about functionality. You know, what do I want? I want something that can, you know, hold games and the console and maybe a couple extra accessories, and I want it to be, you know, simple to carry and pretty. We always want to make things pretty. That's kind of, you know, our whole MO here. Maybe instead of the leaf look, maybe we go with the bark look, which I'm less drawn to initially, but I think it's good to experiment with stuff and try designs that you maybe don't initially like, because sometimes you can be pleasantly surprised by how it turns out. This is me drawing bark at 8 o'clock in the morning, so we can have kind of that uneven look, and maybe the bark style continues down the back and stops on the bottom, so we get some contrast. Maybe there's a zipper on the side. A lot of these, I'm realizing, are also kind of designed like a makeup bag, and sort of like I don't know if vertical is the right way, but maybe, you know, we think more horizontal. What if it's something that lays on its side more? How does that... The one I have right now has a zipper around the middle and then sort of that hard edge. You know, does that then get covered by a leaf? Does it have a leaf pattern on it? Maybe. How does that get brought in stylistically? We could do something cute with the zipper and make the zipper a leaf or a little acorn, which would be kind of fun. That's an acorn. Maybe there's a little, maybe the whole top is a cool leafy look and it kind of wraps around and fasten over the zipper as sort of a protective layer. Obviously it will be a better leaf shape than that one, mayhaps. And I'll have to fiddle with some paper templates too, just to get an idea, because a lot of times when I doodle stuff I think, oh yeah, that's possible, and then I start messing with paper and actual dimensions and realize, oh, that totally doesn't work, or oh, you know, that's physically impossible. And that's when that's kind of the second phase of designing, where it all goes from being in my head to something that's actually potentially feasible. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Don't auto-select my layers. There we go. And maybe I'm trying to think about something totally different. Maybe we have something, I don't know what the top looks like yet, but maybe we have something that wraps around, kind of like this, and maybe there's a pocket in there, and then the switch can live in here, and maybe there's a protective strap that can come down and fasten there. And maybe this bit is leafy. That's kind of neat. And then maybe it's got some kind of leafy lid or whatever that will flop over. Maybe it can use the same fastener as the strap. I don't know. But that's kind of interesting and not something you usually see, kind of a fashion-forward switch case. Maybe we can get 2 pockets. So we have this shape. I hope it's exciting watching me draw all the rectangles. So maybe this wraps around like that, and that's sort of our initial front leafy look. And then maybe this one comes up like that, and maybe we have a second one. So there's a little pocket there, and maybe this is also a pocket. Maybe we have game slots on the back side. And then a strap that can fold over. This is sort of interesting. I might play with this sort of wraparound design just because it's not something I really see much. And the idea with this is not necessarily that it would be the most protective case in the world, but it would be something you can, put in your bag, and it at least has it covered and contained, and it won't get hit by things that are in your bag, and you can keep your games in it. Kind of a small, simple travel case type thing. Another thing too that I just thought of is playing with sort of an envelope design. So if you have kind of the base where the switch might sit, right? And then you have, so this would be sort of the bottom back, and then you have the top, which folds over and is probably leafy, and then you have a side and a side and a bottom, right? So all of these would fold inwards and create something like an envelope where you have kind of the top piece going in, and you have the side pieces, and then you have this top leafy thing. And the switch maybe sits here, and maybe there's a strap. Oh, hi. My cat just reached up and touched my leg. And maybe there's some game slots over here, and maybe there's some game slots over here. The thing about this, though, is it's kind of neat, but I'm also trying to think about, if you're on a bus and you just want to pull out your switch really quick. This is not quick. This is a whole origami situation. So maybe that's not quite ideal. It might be nice if you're at home and you just want to lay out everything but not have it go everywhere. But I'm kind of thinking that this wraparound situation is very interesting. It'd be easy to just pull up the flap, reach in, grab your switch, pop it back in as needed. You can slot some games in the little pockets here if you want to. It has the leafy look. It's kind of nice. So I think that's probably what I'm going to play around with and see. But I'd love to hear if you guys have any ideas for things like, what do you wish your switch case had? What are some storage options, or maybe appearance things, or things like that you would like to have in a switch case? Because I'm sure there's things I'm forgetting because it's 8:30 in the morning, and I'm just in kind of the initial ideas phase, which is very loose and open and potentially unrealistic, but that's where you get your initial ideas. Good morning, friends and kittens. Oh, hi. You coming to say hi? Hi. So I'm working on making a switch light case out of leather, doing a similar style to the leaf pack for reasons. And I wanted to kind of show you my pattern development process. So this is my first mock-up. I like to use just rough brown paper, and I'll just kind of do rough lines with Sharpies and refine as I go. This started out as several pieces because I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but the switch slides in here, which is a lot easier to do with two hands. Wait, it's stuck. Okay. So the switch slides in there, has a nice little wrappy bit, leaf wraps around the front, and when you undo the leaf, you have 2 rows of cartridge pockets. So then what I did is I took photos of this. Give me my switch back. Fine, you can stay in there. I took photos of this, put it into my computer. I made a version 2 of the template. Sorry, my cat's crazy. Made a version 2 of the template, cleaned everything up, figured out where some holes were going to be, changed and adjusted some measurements and things, made the rows larger, made the whole thing a little bit bigger to give some more room for the switch and allow for leather thickness. And then looked at things I needed to change. Like there were a couple hole alignment things I needed to change. I wanted to make this leaf flap a little bit wider so that it fully covered the corners when folded over. And then I also decided to add some side reinforcement because I have a lot. There's like 4 layers that go on the bottom of this thing, which I'm not sure how that's going to work. We'll find out. But so that's going to be super sturdy, but I wanted the sides to be more sturdy too. So I added a thing that'll fold over for the sides also. So this is the current version that I think I'm going to cut out of leather today and put together and see how it works. I'm not sure decoratively what I want to do with it. I know I'm going to do the leaf design kind of like this on this piece that will fold over. But I'm not sure if I want to do anything on this kind of crossed over part. I don't want it to get too complicated, but maybe like, I don't know, some little acorns or something might be kind of nice, or a bark texture. I'll figure that out. Maybe. I like things to be kind of simple, but the cool thing is once you get this pattern, you can do it however you want. But yeah, that's my general process. So I start with this and it's really rough. I cut things as I go. I do scribbly lines. Sometimes I switch to a ruler if I want something a little bit cleaner. And then I can use this to refine digitally, and then I can assemble this to get more notes on things I need to change to get a more final version. And this is my favorite stage because you're just playing. You don't have to be precise. You don't have to know how something's going to work. You can just sort of do rough step-by-steps and figure out what you actually want. And I encourage everybody to do this stage with all kinds of things because it's just fun to play and see what shapes work, what shapes don't, and figure out interesting ways that things can come together. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. I really like doing pieces that are mostly one piece like this. I don't know why. I just find it really satisfying, I guess, and I have fewer like assembly seams. But yeah, I'm curious to see how this comes together. I think I'm going to do this and then also version 2 for my sister of the leaf pack. I think those pieces might get cut today as well. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. Okay, time for a jigsaw puzzle. It's hole punching time! Good morning, friends. This is my completed switch case prototype. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple glaring issues. The main one is this giant hole in the corner. And that's there because on paper, stitching together many layers on the bottom made sense. But in leather, I realized I had like 4 layers, and that just felt like way too many. And I was really struggling, partially because I lined up the holes badly, which again, this is why we make prototypes, because I don't want you guys to have to go through the struggle that I was going through last night trying to put this all together. So I do need some kind of flap, maybe just a short one here to make sure there's not just a hole in the corner, because that's unsightly and nobody wants that. And I need to make sure things line up. I think I might take this edge and extend it up just a little bit to kind of wrap around the corner so that it hides that situation that's happening, because it's not super pretty. And I think I'm going to round the corners so that they aren't loose. And then I have some button posts or Sam Brown buttons, so I'll probably undo this stitch here so I can put it in between the layers, because then it won't hit the screen at all. I didn't think about that last night when I was frantically just trying to stitch this together. But that'll go here, and then this will just boop right on top of it. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Oh, sorry. This is one-handed. Hold on, I have a sneeze. Maybe? Nope, I lied. I don't have a sneeze. Everything is a lie. I did put some lining in this, which I think is a really nice touch. So it's all lined with fabric on the inside. You can see the switch fits really nicely in here. It's got lots of room. And then around the back, there's pockets for all the little games to go. I'm really pleased with this layout. I think it's kind of neat. It's not something you see very often, and these are super easy to access. It's a super simple design, easy to close, easy to take with, and it matches my backpack, which is pretty cool. I like the idea that you guys can, make these or order them to match your leaf packs if you decide to do that. I think it's nice look. But yeah, I will forever preach the importance of prototypes for things like this, and like realizing that holes don't line up, because even you can make mock-up after mock-up and just not realize. Oh, hi Death, what are you doing? Hi. You can make paper mock-up after paper mock-up and think that it works, and then when you go to actually stitch it together, you will always encounter an issue. So I always try to make one first, also because I need stuff for photos, but I'll always try to make one first so that I can figure stuff out, because I don't want you guys to buy the pattern and then just like struggle like I did to get these bottom ones stitched together. I think if the holes lined up, it would have been a significantly easier process, obviously. They weren't terribly off, but I have those little tabs on the sides. Here, let me look at the pattern that I used. This was, sorry. This was kind of the initial pattern. So these are the pieces that folded over to the inside to create the sides. This is the inside bottom when you fold it under. And then I have these tabs, and these I thought I lined up correctly, but I actually, as it turns out, did not. That was a Kiwa. And then also I think they're too long. I ended up chopping them to be shorter, but then I think I made them too short. So I think I'll modify that a little bit. This is the piece I ended up cutting off, not realizing that I would need this chunk still. So yeah, it's just stuff that you can't think of everything all the time, especially if you're me, and you're not good at like math brain. I'm a very visual person, so having a physical thing to put together really helps. But other than that, hi. I'm pretty stoked with how this turned out. It came together really quick. I was like, oh yeah, I got it in one, but nope. Back to the drawing board. Need to make some adjustments, but I think it's pretty great. I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas for potentially making this bit better. I think there's not really a way around it other than to have a few layers. I don't like having lots of separate pieces to put together. I think it's kind of a pain. Here, we can take this out so that you can see the inside, maybe. And it's just, it looks quite nice actually. There's my sin. I like the exposed leather sides. I think that looks really good, and the stitching. This makes sort of an unintentional pocket, I guess. That's the other reason we need some kind of tab on this, is because this is just loose in here now, which is not great. But yeah, there it is. I'm pretty pleased. I'm not sure what's next. There might be a satchel, there might be some different books, there might be a quiver. These are all gonna be leafy themed, so if there's something that you think would be really cool, I'd be curious to hear about it. And there it is. Okay, friends, I think that's going to do it for the vlog this week. Thanks so much for hanging out and leaving your comments and your likes. Make sure to follow and hit that bell if you want to get a notification every Friday for when I upload my vlog. I'm super excited to see what we get into next, and I think the switch case is going to be really cute. And this will be coming out as soon as it's done. You guys will be able to get the pattern and make orders for it, and I'm super excited for that because I think you guys are going to do some cool stuff with it. I will see you next week. Stay safe, make cool shit, and have a good time.